Get reaction from Larry Kudlow, host of Kudlow on Fox Business, also former director of the National Economic Council. Larry, what do you think?
I thought that was a fabulous interview. It was a really wonderful interview. I've known Gene Sperling a long time. He's a good guy, but I completely disagree. And he's having to work real hard to sell this stuff. Look, President Biden today essentially made the case that his spending plans had nothing to do with inflation. And I don't think that's credible, and I don't think that's right. And I think you can look at, prominent Democratic economists, including Larry Summers and Jason Furman and Steve Ratner and others, and Republican economists who warned at the time or shortly thereafter that excess spending was going to create excess demand, was going to create higher inflation, which is exactly what happened. And I think the other point is energy policies. I mean, look, the Bidens have run a war on fossil fuels. And that is responsible for most of the increase in oil prices and gasoline prices at the pump. I think there's a case to be made in the last 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, but with respect to Putin. But I was interested that Gene Sperling said as of January 17th, which is kind of an early date, but there was no invasion until later. But he said gasoline was $3.31. Well, that's interesting because it was $1 less than that 6 months or 9 months earlier. So they're ignoring the prior increase in energy, which is because we're still producing, 1.5 million barrels a day less than we were pre-pandemic. And the environment review policies, the NEPA policies about permitting are stopping fossil fuels and pipelines. Yeah. They're also stopping, I mean, here's another killer. Bridges, highways, roads, and tunnels are going to do a lot of damage to the infrastructure bill because of these highly restrictive permitting policies. And they're also, ironically, going to do a lot of damage to the Green New Deal stuff. Windmills, energy panels, and so forth. It's going to be hard to build that under these highly restrictive environmental review policies. So it doesn't make any sense to me.
Larry, you point out one thing. It stuck out to me when I first heard the president a little over a week ago mention Rick Scott and this ultra MAGA plan, because as John rightly pointed out, it has not been adopted by the party. There was a significant rift between McConnell and Rick Scott when this first came out. And it makes me think, are they trying to shift their messaging? Because what they have right now just does not make a lot of sense. I mean, they're clinging to the fact, to their claim that inflation is transitory, it's going to come down later next year. But then they're also blaming Putin. There's no end date to this war on the calendar. So if it's Putin's fault and it's because of this war that we don't know when it's going to end, but yet they're sticking to this idea that inflation is going to come down some point next year, they can't continue to do that.
Well, look, the Fox poll showed he's upside down 28.67. Is that what I heard John Roberts say?
28.67.
Yeah, on inflation. That's a very nasty number. By the way, if you look at the Q&A, President Biden did not put a timetable on inflation. I think he's at least understands, whether he'll acknowledge it, that this is going to go on for quite some time. 2 points here. Number one, on this Putin debate, I mean, I hate the blame game, but on the Putin debate, so you know what? Take energy out of the CPI, which I wouldn't do because that's what people pay, but take it out. Guess what? The inflation rate is still 6.5%. Yeah. That's 3 times the Fed's 2% target. In other words, all these price hikes are so widespread. It's not about Vladimir Putin. And by the way, it's not about the pandemic anymore. Second point.
Let me just add.
You can blame. No, I wanted to address it. Okay, you can blame MAGA. You can blame Trump. I don't know what MAGA is, okay? I mean, I served 3 years as NEC director. Maybe I'm MAGA. I'm certainly loyal to President Trump and his policies, but Trump's not on the ballot. Yeah. And MAGA's not on the ballot.
Well, they'd like him to be.
Actually, Rick Scott's plan, I mean, Rick's coming on our show at 4 p.m. I want everyone to watch it because I'm going to raise these important issues. But Rick Scott's not on the ballot. Rick Scott's plan's not on the legislative docket. So they're creating all these straw horses. Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't, to me, that's a futile effort.
But Sperling, and we don't have time to really go into depth about this, but Sperling did make one salient point, and that is that Scott's plan is the only thing that's out there, that the Republicans don't have anything else. Real quick, Larry, do they need to get something else?
Well, look, I think you're going to see, by the way, Newt Gingrich is working with Kevin McCarthy. They're going to put a very good plan on the table, which incidentally will not raise taxes. It will make the Trump tax cuts, which were so successful for middle-class working folks, we're going to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. All right? And that's going to be a terrific thing. They're going to have a kind of contract with America. So I think there will be plenty of alternatives. But look, you know, President Biden, if you're going to solve a problem, John, first you have to own the problem.
Yeah, you got to acknowledge that you've got some responsibility.
That's what's missing here. That's what continues to be missed here. And meanwhile, the inflation story is going to be with us, unfortunately, for quite some time as the economy weakens.
They clearly do not want to take any blame because I think they're a little afraid of how voters feel about it already. We will continue to watch that.
Yeah, because you know that if those words escape Biden's mouth today, it'll be all over.
Campaign ads.
Thanks, Larry. We'll see you at 4.
Thank you, both of you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.